In this presentation, you will learn about the components of student-centered learning. We will also discuss activities that can be done to engage the learner and the benefits of using student-centered learning in your classroom. Over the following slides, we will discuss what student-centered learning is, how it's different than lecturing, some activities that you can use to engage students in new material, components that would be included in a student-centered learning project, some summarizing techniques, and the benefits of student-centered learning. What is student-centered learning? Student-centered learning is engaging. The student is active in his learning. The student takes part in activities and projects that focus on what the student is doing. It offers options. Students may have choices about how to go about solving a particular problem or completing a particular project. They may also have some choice in what projects or activities they take part in. It focuses on the student rather than the teacher. It is not about teaching, it is about learning. How is student-centered learning different from lecturing? In a traditional classroom, the focus is almost always on the teacher and how he is presenting the information. But in a student-centered classroom, the teacher does not present information. Instead, he facilitates the student's learning through activities and projects that engage the student. In a lecture, there is no choice. The student listens and the teacher talks. This can be very boring if you do not have any vested interest in what the teacher is saying. With student-centered learning, students may take a different direction in completing a project. This gives them a choice and helps them become vested in the process. How can students be engaged in learning? There are a number of ways students can be actively engaged in learning. Students may use mnemonic devices to learn. In the traditional math classroom, students learn order of operations using "Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally." But in a student-centered classroom, they might learn the order of operations and create their own device to remember it. It may give added meaning if they make it up themselves and connect it with something in their daily lives. Another example of a mnemonic device being used with student-centered learning would be to have students make Gallon Man, a picture of which is provided in the slide. The students would bring in appropriately sized containers and actually build the figure to be displayed in the classroom. Not only would they learn that there are 4 quarts in a gallon, but they would visually see this as well. Collaborative learning is also engaging students in their learning. An example would be to have students discuss something with a partner. The following example would be more suitable where there is a lot of space, such as outside. Students would be given a question or a topic and walk away for 1 minute while one partner shares his thoughts. Then while returning, the second partner would share. This should also take about 1 minute. This gives both partners equal time. Another example would be to have small groups of students discuss a topic within their group. Before the discussion, they would count off. After an appropriate amount of time, the focus would shift back to the class as a whole, and all the number 3s or 2s, or whichever number was called, would stand and share the major points of their group's discussion. Graphic organizers can also be used to focus the learning on the student. Students could be required to represent things that they are learning in a specified format, such as a Venn diagram, a tree diagram, or even a KWL. What are the components of a student-centered learning project? The components are that it should be hands-on, requiring the student to be actively engaged in the topic. Communication and reflection on what is being learned are also valued. Students should be able to explore a topic and not forced to just give a correct answer. Choice in how students attempt a project is also important. Students can learn by failure. If they make a bad choice about how to complete a task, then they will likely learn from that choice. What are some summarizing techniques to bring the focus to learning? We have already discussed projects at a few other points. One disadvantage to using projects is that they require lots of time, in some cases several weeks. Some simpler ideas to help the student summarize what he learned would be a ticket out the door. This would be a question or a reflection about what the student learned. 3-2-1s can be used as another summarizing strategy. An example of a 3-2-1 for a lesson on Pythagorean theorem might be: tell me 3 places Pythagorean theorem can be used, tell me 2 important things about the triangle in Pythagorean theorem, and tell me one thing you found challenging while using Pythagorean theorem. A final example would be an individual student learning log, where they reflect each day or lesson or unit on what they learned and what they found challenging. What are the benefits of student-centered learning? There are several benefits to student-centered learning. Students learn to govern their own learning, picking what things they need to spend more time on and what things they can get by on with what they already know. They become empowered by being responsible for their learning. They also learn networking skills and how to work with and learn from others. Students gain an open dialogue in their learning with their facilitator, which also gives them power in what and how they learn. Finally, and most importantly, they have better retention rates than those of a traditional classroom. The chart on this slide shows the relative retention rates for several activities. You can see that all of the student-centered activities highly outweigh the traditional lecture.